Hey guys, this is Corey from Crypt. We're back here again with a little mining update. I just wanted to show you I got my 2 cards in the mail and I got one of them running behind me, and I'm going to show you the other one there now. Unbox it right quick and slap it in my Windows PC so I can show you some benchmarks of a couple different coins. We'll start with at least Zencash, and maybe I'll try some Ethereum or something just to give another baseline. The 21070 for the wins, the 1070 Ti, and then we got a 1060 jammed in there. The rail here for my 1070 Ti and the 1063 gig here, just because I had an extra 6-pin. Figure it should be fine. The only issue would really be if I had like 2 1070 Ti's, I think. Maybe I'd be drawing a bit too much power for those, but anyways, it seems to be working fine. I ran all night without any issues, and now I'm maxed out here on my board, as you can see down below here. There we go. So this one back here is the first one, the furthest away from me, and then we got 4 others with 3 other older style PCI 1 slots. Or PCI slots, not PCIe slots, and so I'm pretty sure I can't use them. So that's why I got a new board coming in the mail with a new chipset or a new CPU. Here's my new settings I've been running the last couple days. Maybe one of you can tell me. I ended up setting the voltage or the output to 175. But obviously card 3 can't take 175, it only goes up to a max of 140. So when I enter that, I get an error. If any of you know how to enter them separately, the voltage for each line in this miner, which is the EWEF miner, if you know how to change the NVIDIA settings to change the power level for each card separately, that would be really useful, rather than me just cranking the cards up, the other 3 cards up to the level I'd like, and then hoping that the error goes through on that one and doesn't burn up my card. So that's it, guys. I'm just gonna oh wait, yeah, I gotta show you the new card here. Here we have it. Much smaller box than the typical cards I've been getting. You know, it's much thinner. As you can see, the size of the cards are significantly different. But that's good. We're gonna give this a try. Well, I've already tried it with the other one. I'm pretty happy with the hash rates. The only thing is those hash rates that I showed you are not the most accurate. I actually haven't set up my fan on this rig yet. I haven't gotten the fan or my adjustments to work on this. I have to reinstall my drivers and stuff to make sure I can get this guy working. The drivers are working fine for these 3, but this one I still got to fiddle with. If that's something you guys would like to see, playing around with Ubuntu and setting up all the drivers, let me know down below, and I'll see if I can do that for you guys. So in the meantime, we're going to unpackage this guy and get it running over on my gaming PC. I'm just going to connect a riser and we're going to do some benchmarking. Yeah. So there's the card, guys. We've got... Alright, got a 6-pin, as you can see. Nice back plate, unlike the 1070 Ti that I have that has no back plate. From now on, I'm always gonna try to look for a back plate. Seems like they cool a little nicer than the ones without the back plate. Looks like the heatsink is a little bit less quality, not as a small, not a small metal that, essentially won't disperse the heat quite as nicely as the 1070s, but, it shouldn't need to. It shouldn't have as much heat. Doesn't have as much power going to it. Alright guys, here we are at the gaming PC. We got the 1060 here. We're gonna slap this guy in here with our little riser here. I'm gonna probably just hang it somewhere on the side so we can do a quick little test. So let's start. This is the first time I'm doing direct 6-pin. Normally I use the little SATA connector here for for the 6-pin to SATA, but since the SATAs are all tied up in my gaming rig, I'm just going to use the easily accessible 6-pin I got here and give that a go. Then we're going to plug this guy into the board. Actually, let's make sure the board's turned off. Where are you? There you go. Pop that sucker in. Now I got the other 6-pin for the card. I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna hang this guy. Tricky. Oh, okay. That's fine. There we go. In. My little gate here doesn't want to shut. Might be not all the way in. There we go. There we go. All right. So that thing's shut. That means we're locked in and ready to go here. All right. Slap this guy in. There we go. Rocking and rolling. It should be good like that. Double check on this guy, make sure he's in there good. All right, we should be laughing. Let's turn the power back on and see if we boot up. Cards are spinning, that's a good thing. It's a good start. Alright, we got Windows to restart. I had to do a Windows update, so I turned off the camera, but she's running there now. Not running the actual miner, but all I did was a quick restart of Windows and updated the driver so that I could see it in my list. For those of you that are curious, if you click right here, you can actually see your different GPUs. So I can see my 970 here. These are the settings I got set for the 970. And then we look here and you can see everything's pretty much basic settings other than my fan curve that I've adjusted. And we're gonna start tweaking with this stuff. So I'm gonna throw on OBS so we're not having to stare at the glare and stuff of the screen. And we'll see if we can tweak this and see what we can get out of the 1060. Alright guys, so we're gonna give this another try there. Not sure exactly what happened. Well, we blue screen, that's what happened, but not sure what caused it exactly. You know, we're gonna start with Zencash because that's what I normally mine. So I'm just going to pull up my Supernova here. Alright, we're back here. After the blue screen, I got it back up and running. Ended up installing the software end of the drivers. I'd forgotten about the drivers on. Well, I guess it's just the GeForce drivers really for NVIDIA cards. I guess when I plugged in the Gigabyte, I had forgotten to do that part. I ended up updating the driver end, but not that part. So yeah, we should be good there now. Let's see if our afterburner is working properly on both. So for anybody who uses this, you can select through your two different cards here with just clicking on the GPU here, and then you can go through, or however many cards you have. You can even set these waves to synchronize the cards to be all the same settings. As you can see here, the waves are different, so I'm able to manually set the cards differently, which is what I want. If I had clicked here and the waves were the same, they would essentially just change both cards to be the same. So yeah, all right, we got the Zencash miner, Zencash miner. Well, EWBF's Zcash miner, but we're currently mining Zencash right now, guys, and yeah, just with basic stock settings out of the box, this was all reset, so this is essentially what these two would be getting. We're focusing on the 1060, 1060 guys. We're focusing on the 1060 because that's, you know, the new card I got. But it's kind of interesting how my 970, I mean, it uses more power. If we scroll up here, we can see the first the 0 GPU is actually my 1060, and number 1 is the 970. So 0, we're using, you know, half the power really. And we're getting, you know, a little bit under what my 970 was getting. So as far as power consumption, the 960s obviously or 1060s are much more efficient than the older tech of the 970s. I can even tell you, just as far as sizing, the 970 superclock that I have running in this that you see under GPU 1 is actually quite a bit bigger. Well, you guys probably saw it earlier when I was plugging in the card. So yeah, that's what we're getting on baseline. And then we're just going to boost up these settings here to the settings that I normally use on the 970. And let's see what I got presets here. So essentially I just brought down the power limit down to 90. My core clock is at 100 and my memory clock is at 500. So we're going to give that a go. And then on the 1060, I'm going to essentially try running the same settings because earlier that seemed to be running okay. And we'll just tweak it from there. So essentially we got 90% of our power limit. We got core clock plus 100 and our memory clock at plus 500. So we're going to give that a go and let's see how she runs now. So yeah, I mean, like I said, the 970 and 970 superclock and the 1060, I don't believe it's a superclock edition, is it? Give me 1 second, I'll tell you if it's a superclock edition while this is coming up. All right. WindForce, I believe it's just the regular edition, guys. It seems smaller than the superclock edition based on my superclock 970 that I have, as well as the superclocked 1070 Ti that I've got. And for the Win 2s are even bigger than that as far as, well, no, I mean their size is the same, I suppose, comparing to the 1080 Ti. But anyways, these regular cards, I don't see anything about superclock, so I'm assuming they're just regular 1060s. And I mean, even if you look at the memory clock here, you can see that we're only running at, you know, 3072 megabytes versus 4096 megabytes. So there's a pretty, you know, there's almost 1,000 megabyte difference there. So you'd expect the 970 to actually be stronger in my mind. But I mean, technology advances. I guess it's not just the memory, it's not just the amount of clock it has, you know, essentially. I guess there's a few other components depending on what you're mining and so on and so forth. So yeah, as you can see here, actually one thing I was wondering, guys, if anybody, well, I'm sure lots of you are more experienced. Let's see, why is it that sometimes you get, you know, lots of shares coming through and other times you don't? Is that just, you know, because of the actual pool you're at, they're not, you know, finding as many shares? Or is there, I've noticed sometimes when shares don't go through and I'm pushing the miner too much and I check the pool, I'm getting a lot more rejected shares even though they're not showing up on the miner itself. So then I normally tone back what I'm doing. So yeah, this setting may not be stable whatsoever, but this is what we're getting right now. So my goal, I guess, is to try to get the 1060 around the same hash rate, souls per second, as because this is as the 10. My goal is to get the 1060 around the same amount of souls per second as, say, my 970 superclock. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but that's what I'm shooting for. Looks like this isn't working the greatest. This was running much better without the OBS running, so it could be that that's causing me some issues. I didn't blue screen before, and then earlier we blue screened, so who knows. But essentially, you're getting an idea of where we're running at here. We can tweak the settings more, of course, but I'm not doing that right now. I'm just showing you a little bit of a baseline. The reason why I'm not going too much more is I have had some crashes on my 970 if I go any higher. Oh, look, it's not even running at the proper speeds right now. So here, I'm just going to close this. Sometimes this happens. We're going to try to reset this back up. These are both reading what they should be reading now. And we'll try booting that up one more time just to see if that made any difference there. I didn't even pay attention, but we'll be able to compare in the video right quick if my 970 was going at the right speed there. But essentially, yeah, you're going to see every card that I'm going to compare throughout the next little while will all be compared against the 970, because essentially that's what my monitor is connected into, and that's what my gaming rig is using right now. I'm using the stronger cards actually for mining because they work well. Yeah, so we're getting around 250 on that one, 224. I did see this up to around 500 souls, so I was getting a lot closer without running OBS. So anyways, anywhere from 480 to 500 souls is, I guess my goal right now. Maybe with more tweaking, I'll be able to get that better. So that's Zencash or Zcash. If that's how that runs as far as the miner is concerned. Now, let's see what we get on VERTcoin. So VERTcoin is another one that I've mined every now and then, mostly actually just with my 970 to get a few coins. It has not been overly profitable or anything like that. I'm just gonna start with the upgraded settings, and we'll turn it back down, I guess, since I've already got this here. And the last time I turned down the settings, it did blue screen on me. So I just want to run at least one more test. Or you know what, we might as well run them all right now at this, and then I'll bring in the other tests back at stock, because who's really going to run things at stock? People are going to mess around with their power limit, probably even more so than I have. And, as long as you can get something stable out of, some higher settings, I'm normally pretty happy with it. I'm not super experienced with the 1060, so I'm not sure what they should be getting. So it looks like we're getting around 13 on the 13.25 mega hash. It's not that high. Well, I guess comparing to the 18 that I'm getting on the 970, it's decent. 970, we're still running at those settings. The clock speed is a lot higher actually on the 1060 right now. Actually, both settings are way higher than the 970. It's kind of curious actually why I'm getting such slow speeds comparing to the 970. But maybe they're not comparable because of the amount of power that's getting drawn through the 970. I'm not sure. Maybe one of you know? Let me know. But yeah, alright, this is what we're running. It's not running super consistent. And I think it's mostly because of the OBS. It's just not liking it right now. I could be wrong though. Maybe my settings are too high. Or my power limit's too low. But anyways, that's that. Let's see, and just for fun, let's run the ETH miner. I don't mind Ethereum right now, guys. I've been tempted to try it for a little while. Now that I have a little bit bigger of a rig, between these two cards here and the other ones, I've got 6 cards, and I'm starting to build up a decent amount of, I guess. Oh, we're good. So far so good. Don't crash on me. You can do it. So yeah, we're starting to build up a decent little supply of GPUs. The main reason I didn't want to get involved with the whole Ethereum mining scene is I was looking more to the future as far as it becoming proof of stake. Even though I'm realizing now that maybe it's not going to become proof of stake for a while. They've been working on it for a while. Who knows how much longer that's going to take? That they have ideas, but anyways, it may be worth to mine for a while longer. But honestly, if I was going to do Ethereum mining, I probably wouldn't be using NVIDIA cards. But I don't know. Anyways, you kind of gotta weigh your options. The main reason is the DAG file being loaded into that first card. So right now, it's actually being loading into the first 1060 instead of the 970, which is what I would have liked. So I should have plugged the other graphics card below the 970 instead of above, as far as in the slot that I chose. So yeah, we're getting 19 megabytes, or sorry, megabytes, getting 19 megabytes per second, guys. We're getting 19 mega hash total speed. The first GPU, the 1060, is almost entirely, because it's only a 3 gigabyte card, it's almost entirely being taken up by the DAG file. And then the next GPU has some relief, I believe. It's not being used for the DAG file. So essentially, you have to keep that in mind, guys. If you're using the 3 gigabyte cards solely, your first card is almost being used to store the DAG file. And if the DAG file gets any bigger, which it does over time, you're eventually not going to be able to use that. Now, it may go proof of stake before that happens. If you're curious what proof of stake and proof of work is, essentially all it means is that proof of work is what this is. We're mining, we're proving that we've done some work on the network, and we get rewarded for it. Proof of stake is when you essentially just take the coins that have either been mined or you're holding or you've accumulated over time, and you stake it on the network. Essentially, you lock up the coins for a period of time, and you get paid almost like a dividend sort of paid passive income sort of thing. And it's just another way of doing things. It's also a lot more economical as far as power. As far as I know, you don't need to use as much power. I could be wrong, because there is some setup involved with making master nodes and other things that are required. But as far as the staking is concerned, I'm not 100% on the power, but as far as I know, it takes significantly less power than say mining would take on a coin. So yeah, anyways, back to what we're talking about. Ethereum is moving to proof of stake, so that's why I decided to mine other coins and experiment with that. So yeah, these are the speeds we're getting, guys. We can see it's not very accurate. I should do a baseline in the future with them switched around so you can see what the actual 1060. We're gonna call this 1060? We should do a video, like I was saying, with just the 1060 connected with maybe the my 970 loading in the epoch, so we can actually see what we're getting on it. But yeah, that's the speed on that. Honestly, if you guys want to see the baseline speeds, I can do them, but I don't see a point. I'll be 100% honest with you. Nobody's going to use baseline speeds. These are some settings that I've messed with. Obviously, you may not use the same settings, but who cares? Like you're going to mess with the settings. You know what? Let's just so we have all of it, we're just going to do it. Let's just do it. Takes a second to do, might as well, right? If we crash, we crash. Crash and burn. Alright, so we're back to regular settings here. Let's try running the ETH miner again to start, since we already got it open here. Total 2 cards. Oh, weird. GPU 0 is actually the 970, but the epoch or the DAG file is getting low. Does the DAG file get loaded into all the cards, and that's just the way it works? I could be wrong about the DAG file, guys. I don't mind ETH, so you really shouldn't look at me as a source of knowledge on ETH mining, I'll be honest. But there's definitely a issue with the DAG file regarding the smaller gigabyte cards. You know, most people that are mining ETH are not typically looking at the 3 gigabyte cards, I think. They're looking normally 4+ gigabyte cards, just so they're not as affected by, you know, the information being loaded onto the card that takes up the speed. So the speed GPU 0, yeah. So yeah, it's weird. So yeah, zero is my 970 actually. So this is the speed of the 1070 or the 1060. All right, sorry guys, I wasn't paying attention to which GPU was which, I guess. So we're good. Looks like the 970 is actually the one taking up the DAG here with GPU 0 running at, let's go down here, 1.56. And then GPU 1 is supposed to be our 1063, 3 gigabyte. And stock settings we're running at 17.5. Again, these are stock settings, guys. Nobody's going to be running stock settings most of the time. And so that's it. That's ETH and the ETH miner. I believe it looks like it does Decred and other things, but you know, as far as dual mining. But I am currently only doing mode 1, which is Ethereum only. So just so you know, we're just doing Ethereum only here. All right. Also, let's just for fun here, we're gonna do a bit of here. We'll go on the BitZ miner here. BitZ is essentially just another Bitcoin Z is just another coin that is mined on the Equihash algorithm. So essentially, you can mine it with any of the Zcash miners. So you just got to put in your pool information and whatnot, as I've done up here. Yeah, as you can see, we're mining to sonofatech.com. Shout out to him if you guys aren't subscribed to Son of a Tech. He's definitely an awesome YouTuber. He's got a lot of great content, and he does all sorts of like reviews and things like that on different gear, as well as, I mean, he was part of my inspiration for buying cards at all. So definitely check him out. So yeah, I'm just mining to a pool that he's got spun up, and it's actually it was dying down for a while, but it looks like we got like almost 50 miners there now, getting daily payouts very consistently, and it's I believe he's still running at 0% fees, which, you know, is a nice plus. Seems like this is another miner, guys, DSTM miner, if you're curious about it. Oh, there we go. I don't know why it wasn't working on the Son of Tech pool. Maybe it was just being glitchy. I'll try it again there in a second. But essentially, some people were saying that you were able to get better hash rates on this miner than the EWBF miner. But essentially, I don't really like the layout of this. It's just too blah. I like to be able to see my numbers come up, you know, my temps come up in red, and, you know, different indication, visual indications quick. I can just look at the screen, oh shoot, my miner went down. I can fix it, or I mean, I can also look at my fans, or a lot of the time, because some of the fans aren't controlled by me. I haven't been able to figure out how to control both my fans on the 1070s for the wins. For some reason, I can only get control of one. But a plus side to that is the other fan gets turned up once the miner is, you know, running at a decent speed or a decent temp. And then when the miner shuts down for a random reason, maybe I've overclocked it too much or something, then the one fan will stop turning, and I'll be able to see, well, obviously if I put my hand over it, it'll be blowing cold air, no more hot air, so I know the miner's down. But I can also visually see when one fan is down, I know there's a problem. So yeah, anyways, this one, I mean, it does. I did notice a difference, but I only run this on the Windows machine because I have minimal space on the flash drive that I put a Ubuntu on, so I can only set up so many miners. I basically have to pick and choose.
So I should and will upgrade to probably a bigger hard drive and maybe even run other operating systems just to test out a few. I'm interested in a few other maybe Simple Miner, or there's a couple other ones that I've heard about recently, so I might maybe checking out those at some point. So that's that. Let's go and see. Back to our Zen miner here. Oh, we did the Zen miner in basic settings already. So VERT coin. Let's see what our VERT coin basic settings are. So it seems like the miner isn't. My miner's really not some of these miners aren't liking the fact that I'm running OBS in the background, I guess. What can you do, right? If anybody's curious about certain levels, I can try to do a screenshot or something in the future. But yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be too worried. We're just getting a rough idea of what baseline settings are. And like I said, most people aren't going to be running the stock settings right out of the box. This is just to give you an idea. Speaking of that, the stock settings that I'm running over there on the actual mining rig, all the 3 cards that I had installed before I got the 1060s were already set up. They got the settings put in. I've been able to adjust all of my parameters. But the new 1060, when I plugged it in, it's not essentially plug and play for Linux. You do have to, from what I can tell, every time I get a new card, I have to update drivers. Even sometimes when it seems like I move my PCI port, my slots around a little bit, I have to update drivers. So maybe that's why people label their PCI ports. I don't know. Still learning, guys. It's all a process. But anyways, this video has been more than long enough. Thanks for watching. I hope you got something useful out of this. I'm trying to provide more useful things, for stuff that I've run into that I've been either curious about or things that I've just been like, oh, it'd be cool to see another perspective on that. Well, that's what I'm trying to provide here now. So, guys, hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you want to see any more of this kind of stuff. And we'll see you next time.